Well, welcome back again, and I've got here an unusual product from behind the Iron Curtain. Symbols. Yes, this was made by RFT. Now, you might think it's a load of rubbish, but in many ways you have another thing coming. You see, in the West we had the dreaded planned obsolescence, didn't we? So that if certain components failed on an old machine, you were, by and large, unless you knew somebody who knew a lot about them or could get some new old stock spares, completely and totally buggered. But RFT and the like, Unitra, Tonsil, to name two. I know tonsil sounds odd, doesn't it? They had no part in all this nonsense. They wanted things to last as long as possible. And I distinctly remember us getting hold on the railway of a load of light bulbs back in the 80s. And they were just about indestructible. They were the old incandescent ones, of course. But there was none of this going pop after 1500 hours. They just kept going and going and going. And the reason was, I suppose, that they had enough difficulty just making this thing. And they didn't want to have to keep having it repaired, because there might not be the people around who knew how to repair it. But the only trouble is, with this particular one, as with many others, the original Behind the Iron Curtain cartridge has just gone to goo. You can see the gungy sort of white stuff is all that's left of the crystal or ceramic elements. But it's actually got quite a number of nice little features on here. There's a tape socket, 5-pinned in on this side, a headphone socket, unusual looking thing, with 4 pins arranged in a square and a central one, same as Philips used to use, and then underneath are the two pin DID speaker connections, and I rather suspect that this came with a pair of rather snazzy speakers that were this colour and black, but I haven't got those, alas. All I found was this particular set as it was. Moving inside, it's quite interesting too, because it contains a very early microchip amplifier system. This unit was built in '86, so not early by our standards, but those chips there and there are the power amplifiers. And we used to call those hedgehogs for obvious reasons. Look at the big spikes, and that's the heat sink. And I remember the old Fidelity Radio Masters were also fitted with those, and it used to say on the back, do not connect more than one pair of speakers to this, or some such. And they were 15 ohm speakers that came with it. No great shakes. You were much better off using a pair of nicer 16 ohm ITT things or something like that. But they always went the same way. People used to wire up another set of speakers in parallel, power it up. Of course, the poor hedgehogs only saw half the impedance they should have. Bzzz. That was the end of that. That was the sound they used to make. I got so good at imitating it that I used to ask the customer, did it make that sound? Yeah, it did. Oh God, yes, you've blown the chips. So the early ones were actually made so you could fish the whole assembly out and simply plug in a new one. How's that? So they must have been expecting to have trouble. And I believe they were Texas Instrument things. Rumour has it that some Sinclair equipment was fitted with, dare I say it, Texas Instrument rejects. I wonder if Fidelity got theirs from that. Anyway, back to this. You can see it's all built like a tank. That motor is big enough to power a tape deck, isn't it, really? Reel-to-reel tape deck. And then you've got a separate transformer that runs the amplifier, and everything is in pristine condition inside. It doesn't need anything doing to it. All it wanted was the sliders there, squirting with service oil, and as you can see, they're well protected. They're hidden away inside the thing, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, so not everything about the old Eastern Bloc was bad, but the only thing I can do with the cartridge is to find a modern sort of generic compatible one and to fit that. Another nice thing about this is that the idler is still nice and rubbery. You don't often see that on a set this old, do you? Anyway, I hope you like this unusual, however, are the roses red in the square? Oh, there's a big black car just pulled up outside. I've got to hide in my bunker quickly. Oh dear, yes. See you soon. Well folks, here's the finished result. Fitted a generic Japanese cartridge in it. Another ceramic one, of course. And I have to say, it doesn't sound too bad. It's very, very basic, really, because you've just got V for volume, T for tone, and B for balance. And I did wonder whether it was volume, treble, and bass, but no, this is definitely balance. So there you have it, a strange little survivor from the old Checkpoint Charlie days. And as you can see, the automatic stop merely stops the machine, turns it off. There's a rather ingenious locking device here, very, very simple. All you do is flip that over and that secures the tow knob. Yeah, nice and simple, the way we like it. Simple! But can't be many of these left, I suppose, because unless you're lucky enough to live somewhere where they were made, your chances of finding a replacement cartridge are pretty low, for one thing. I haven't come across one of those old behind the Iron Curtain Checkpoint Charlie cartridges that actually works, I'm afraid, now. But time is ticking on. This was made in 1986. I'm not sure where it was sold. It's badged a ZIPHONA combo, if that gives anybody any ideas out there. Turntable appears to be plastic, but there is in fact a heavy metal assembly underneath, which is how the thing actually drives. And the tone arm was held in with a sort of roll pin thing. All very, very basic, but surprisingly effective. Anyway, we'll see you again soon with another rare old heap of junk. Bye for now.